The city of Townsville is under attack by the Covenant. Ghoul Team has been deployed to fend off the attack, and they need your credit card numbers and 3 digits on the back to win. Quick, do it or else.
It's too late. The Covenant are glassing the city.
I can stop their glassing beam with my big shield that blocks glassing beams so long as you give me your credit card information and buy me a new Xbox Series X.
Loving fans, if I don't get the $5 to buy the green armor coating for Halo Infinite, I can't appear in the TV show.
Not the TV show? I forgot they were doing that.
It's us.
Yeah, instead of Master Chief, it's about Gold Team.
Oh, the show's been canceled.
Oh. In this episode of Halo Bytes, we talk about the drastic story shift that Halo went through between Halo 5 and Infinite.
Between the narrative team's insistence that Guardian's story was planned from the start, a notion which seems endemic in franchise storytelling and is frankly ridiculous, and the obvious shift afterwards to a spiritual reboot, the best we, as the audience, can do is, well, speculate.
And whine. I can do a lot of whining before Infinite's out.
I just cry.
I can also control Joseph Staten's brain, which is what I'm doing.
Like a Ratatouille?
Yeah.
Like Ratatouille?
But for writing.
Like Cortana in Chief's head?
Yeah, like Ratatouille. Same amount of mind control.
Ratatouille sequel reboot, but it's about writers.
Yeah, it's called Ratatouille.
I won't try to put together what happened behind the scenes individual game writing or the rumored 11th hour changes in both Guardians and Infinite, with Staten's addition to the team gesturing to such for the latter. So I guess I'll just expand one of my previous points. Readjusting a story between entries is good, actually. Again, that notion that something is planned from the start is kind of ridiculous. Now, obviously there are some caveats. I think completely bending to the whim of the community, as in people who are not writers, is something which makes for worse, less interesting stories broadly. Despite some fan communities' insistence, there is never one overriding critical consensus for a piece, and steering a narrative towards what fans want is just flat, unengaging, and not how good stories are written, because there's not one thing fans, TM, want. In fact, it leads to a lot of not so good stuff when sub-community is full of a lot of loud people who are mad online in bad faith. Something I know y'all will get into.
There is certainly a line with listening to the community. Sometimes you gotta stand your ground while taking valuable feedback, but it definitely feels like there was some kind of miscommunication here between 343 and the fans, mainly in the story.
But taking into consideration the context of the previous entry and allowing your story to organically evolve each time, as opposed to sticking with some grand roadmap that never really exists, will always make for a more open, flexible, and healthy approach to story production. Though in this case, they seem to be using that as an excuse to just gloss over the last two entries in the series, i.e. giving capital F fans what they want. Caveats indeed.
I'm of two minds here. On one hand, I'm really excited for them to move away from elements of Halo 5 I didn't really like. The created were kind of a nothing enemy with poor motivations, and I can't say I was excited to see them make the created front and center in another Halo game. The Banished are a good change, and hopefully they will remain as interesting as they were in Halo Wars 2. On the other hand, I'm really worried they'll throw out ideas I liked. Locke and Fireteam Osiris had a lot of promise, and just getting rid of them seems unpleasant. Even killing them doesn't seem fair to them, because they never got a fair shake to begin with. Blue Team, while underdeveloped in 5, were still a very welcome addition to Halo's core text, as they have always been a wonderful part of the books. I don't want to see them go away. 343 has promised they won't throw away ideas with Halo Infinite, and I believe them, for the most part. Many of you have probably heard about the Mega Bloks brute that leaked with Locke's helmet on his shoulder. That's a bad sign. That's a real bad sign.
And you're not joking at all. He was just introduced one game ago. This isn't good, 343.
Mm-hmm. Killing off a big character like Locke so soon after his introduction feels wrong as a writing choice, and especially considering he is the first black protagonist since Johnson.
Just because it didn't work for some people, or there are legitimate criticisms for how you wrote it the first time, doesn't mean... Like, you gotta take your history warts and all. You gotta make it work, if you can.
This feels like a warning sign. I want to believe 343 will figure out what works and what doesn't, and make the right call for what to include in Halo Infinite and what not to. They've done so before with Halo 4 and Halo Wars 2, so I believe in them, but, I mean, I also can't say I'm not worried.
Halo Wars 2 also was Creative Assembly, mostly.
Oh, whoops. I'm now owned. Wow.
Fading off into the mist.
Wahoo! Okay. It's 2015. Halo 5 releases. You insert the disc, you play the game. You beat every mission, slay every enemy, destroy all Wardens Eternal. After finding out every twist and turn the campaign has to offer and are met with the seemingly endless credits, only one thought is ringing in the ear of your mind. What happened? I've made an entire video talking about my reaction to Halo 5 for 8 minutes and 22 seconds, so I'm not going to dive too far into that. Instead, I want to talk about the changes from 5 to Infinite. The Prometheans and the Created. Nothing. Zilch. Almost no mention. We get a name drop of the Harbinger, which could possibly be something related to the Created, but that's about it. The Discover Hope trailer only has an implied mention of Cortana and... nope. That's all. This is understandable, as not only is 343 trying to show that they're course correcting, but a large Forerunner enemy faction doesn't say spiritual reboot now, does it? Returning main characters. Nobody, save for Chief. Very small text about the Infinity, which shows we may be getting 343 era characters, but when the icons all shifted to deceased, it doesn't bode well for them, does it? 343 could have many new characters planned, such as the pilot. That's another sign they're trying to do their darndest to start over. And finally, the studio. 343 lost a lot of people, some recent, some not. Tim Longo, Josh Holmes, and the studio head, Chris Lee. They also gained some, like Joseph Staten and all the new music composers. These are just the changes we know about. There are probably others. I won't speculate too much about this because I do not know the internal politics of 343 Industries at all. However, if a change was needed, it would be after Halo 5. To conclude my ramblings, I'm not going to pretend I know everything. I'm not going to claim everything is better or worse now. But I know one thing. We are not where we were. And Infinite is absolutely going to reflect that.
So, the Janus Key, Spartan Black Team, Jewel Mdama, the Didact, Hunt the Truth, the Rookie, and more. My gripe with modern Halo is the seemingly constant dropping of previously key plot points or the killing of extraneous characters. It makes me worried for Atriox. It makes me wary to be invested for any story that's supposedly going to go on for more than one game. Halo 4's entire story is skippable basically as long as you understand the plot point of Cortana dead, which 5 spends precious time on doing. The plot points I like are either ignored, or retconned, or Mdomed. I think returning to a tried and true Covenant versus human dynamic through the Banished on Zeta Halo is the right step, even if it steps on Cortana's robot uprising, but without any robots, plotline. But, to be fair, even if I don't like certain plotlines, it's still better if they're resolved in a satisfying way, which I think is my thesis. Avoid those nasty cliffhangers or expecting a Spartan Ops Season 2. Focus on making a beginning, middle, and end.
Amen.
Kind of like how this episode is going to end. Wah!
Joe, say something.
Pog.
Shut up.
Rips your little head off.
Kidding, I love you. All right, everyone. If you have any other topics you want us to discuss, leave them in the comments.
If you want to argue in the comments with us,
Do it
go
with
ahead.
each other, not with me.
At me. I want to hear from
Don't.
you.
No. If you at me with any kind of hot take, I will block you.
Walk
immediately
into
on
the
spot.
screen with me. Join me in my digital domain.
If you agree with me, I want to know. I want to know you agree with me. If you disagree with me, think about your actions.
All right, we'll see you around.
Get out of here.
Get over here.
And don't come back. No, please do.
Like and subscribe. Get out of here.
We need the views.
Maybe come back. I'll keep a seat warm for you.